If you keep your hands in the water for a while, you'll notice it slowly changing. Wrinkles start showing up all over, and your fingertips get all weird to the touch. This happens when we hang out in water for a long time, whether during a shower, swimming, or even doing the dishes. But what's the deal with this strange thing? Is it bad or actually good? And what happens if we keep our hands in the water for a whole day? Before we get started, I would like to recommend you subscribe to this channel and enable the notification bell so you won't miss any updates of our new videos about questions that just pops up to your mind and you don't know the answers to. Back in the day, scientists used to think that the wrinkles you get on your fingers after chilling in water for a long time happened by a phenomenon called osmosis, which water molecules sneak in and gather in the outer dry layer of your skin and puffing it up. They thought this was what caused your skin to look bigger and wrinkled. But in 1935, two doctors stumbled upon something pretty weird while poking around with people with nerve damage. One of these folks was a patient who was missing feeling in 4 of his hand's fingers, but one of them was working fine. When they soaked this patient's hand in water for a long time, they noticed something interesting. Fingers that have nerve issues didn't get wrinkly like the fine one. Now they realized that these wrinkles weren't just happening because the skin was soaking up water. If that were the case, all the fingers would puff up. It was more about the nervous system and precisely how it responds to being wet for a long time. When we put our hands in the water for a good while, especially if it is cold, our nervous system gets chatty with the blood vessels under our skin, telling them to tighten up. This causes the skin in the deeper layers to scrunch up and get smaller. That's what makes the skin underneath look wider and all wrinkly. This phenomenon occurs involuntarily. It's cool how this only happens only on the palm of your hand and the sole of your foot and nowhere else. The rest of your body stays smooth and normal, as if the nervous system picked these specific spots for some special job they do. These wrinkles make your hand good at holding onto stuff even when things are wet. They help you grab items underwater like rocks, balls, etc. without letting them slip from your grip. These wrinkles are also helpful when walking underwater because they help you stay steady on slippery surfaces or walking on the pool bottom. If this is so good, why aren't our hands always wrinkled? Well, in normal situations, the smooth skin on our fingers helps us feel things easily, unlike the wrinkled skin. When this phenomenon happens, it messes with your fingerprints and even your phone won't be unlocked with a fingerprint ID, but it goes back to normal after a couple of minutes. On the other hand, newborns are particularly susceptible to skin wrinkles due to spending 9 months within the amniotic fluid within the maternal womb. This could give rise to the emergence of wrinkles on their hands and feet for several weeks following birth. But what if we left our hands and feet in water for a day or longer? As mentioned before, the blood vessels shrink when we stick our hands in water. If we keep our hands and feet in the water for a long time, those blood vessels keep shrinking incrementally. This can cause a medical thing called trench foot. Your foot starts tingling, turning red, and eventually blue. Then it swells up and the outer skin starts to break down bit by bit, along with the tissues and muscles. Unfortunately, in this level, but the foot might need to amputate. So if you're into swimming, remember not to stay in the water too long, especially when it's cold in winter. And just so you know, this medical thing doesn't only happen from being in water. It can also occur if you wear super tight shoes or snug sports sneakers for a long time, constantly exerting pressure on the blood vessels in your feet. Having dampness stuck inside your boots for a while can also make this problem show up. This condition got its name because soldiers during World War II used to spend long periods in trenches without taking off their boots. According to statistics, this issue affected over 75,000 soldiers in the British Army alone. In the end, though skin wrinkles from being in water are totally normal and temporary, they're not a big deal if they stay around for a while. But if they're sticking around for a long time or causing ongoing problems, it's a good idea to talk to a doctor.